when you've been incarcerated and behind bars for so long, what happens is you become institutionalized. In other words, if you were to be paroled and let out of jail, you're so used to somebody else telling you when to get up, when to go to bed, when to shower, when to brush your teeth, when to do this and when to do that, until you can't function in the outside world. So, in other words, you don't understand and you don't know how to operate in the freedom of making decisions and choices for yourself. So your mind has been bound and enslaved, is what it is. It's a form of slavery. So what happened is you can't think by yourself. So since they've let you out of jail, you go and rob the grocery store just to go back to jail. You want to get caught. So you leave all kind of evidence. You don't wear a mask. You just go in there and say, stick them up, give me all your money. And you walk down the street after you rob the place counting your money. In other words, you're waiting on the police to come and get you because you want to go back to jail where people tell you what to do, when to do, and how to do it. You become institutionalized instead of you getting out of jail and leading a civilized, productive life, getting a job, getting an apartment, be a law-abiding citizen, do not break laws, do what's necessary to become a asset to society rather than a liability. Because if you go back into jail, you're a liability. That means we have to take care of you. So many of us have become institutionalized. Yes, you're not behind prison bars. We're talking about in the spirit realm. You're not behind prison bars in the natural realm, but your mind has been enslaved. You go on these people's jobs and you don't know how to follow instructions and do what's asked. When it's time to be promoted, you don't know how to step up and ask to be promoted. You don't know how to operate unless somebody is watching over you, so you got to stay on ground level. You can't become a manager or a supervisor or whatever because somebody got to always be telling you what to do. You can't graduate from one grade to the next grade because somebody got to always remind you to do your homework or do your schoolwork. You don't know how to just go head on and do your homework without being told, or do your housework without being told. You've been institutionalized too long. You've been dependent upon somebody, some person, some institution to tell you what to do, when to do, and how to do it. I'm not institutionalized. I'm a CEO. Yes, I have a job. Yes, I work for somebody else. Even if I had my own business like I did, you still, when you have your own business, you're still working for somebody else. You still have customers that you're working for. It's not a big company type situation. You may have individuals, you may have small groups of people, small organizations that you do work for, but you still work for people, even if you have your own business. But you're a self-starter. Don't nobody have to tell you to get up and go to work. You don't have to worry about being late for appointments. Just like if you be late for your job, so many times they'll write you up. They don't have to write you up. Why? Because you're not institutionalized. You're not a person that needs to be told and needs to be threatened. If you don't do this, we're going to write you up and this and that and other. You don't need to hear the consequences every time you don't do something. If you do miss the mark, you just realize that you must readjust yourself and make sure you don't miss the mark the next time. We have to become uninstitutionalized. Now let's look at the church. We're so institutionalized. We're waiting on the pastor to tell us to pray. We're waiting on the pastor to tell us we need to have Bible class. We're waiting on the pastor to tell us that we need to read our Bible every day and speak the word. And instead of studying for ourselves. We waiting on the pastor to tell us that.